I've joined the Rawvolution at Naturaw because I know that not all raw food is created equal. I'm passionate about feeding dogs as nature intended. After all, you are what you eat, and so is your dog. At Naturaw, there are no compromises, no confusion, just real raw food made with integrity and a conscience, offering 100% transparency, supporting British farmers, and only using the highest welfare assured ingredients is so important. They're a certified B Corp and reduce their carbon footprint by utilizing solar power and planting trees. They only use completely plastic-free packaging that's home compostable. Prudence and Mr. Binks are simply loving their nutrient-dense and balanced recipes. So try Naturaw today. Just go to naturaw.co.uk and grab 20% off your first purchase with my code AnnaWeb20. Join the Rawvolution and feed exceptional raw food. Hello, I'm Anna Webb, and welcome to this week's episode of A Dog's Life. I'm chatting to the amazing Kailey Mills, all about her hearing dog, a Cocker Spaniel called Buster. And this episode is brought to you by Zoomy. Kailey Mills, welcome to A Dog's Life.
Thank you very much for having me.
Kailey, it's such an honor. I'm so excited to be chatting to you because I understand that you have a hearing dog.
I certainly do, yes. Buster.
Buster.
Yes.
Oh, tell us a bit more about Buster. What type of dog is he?
He's a show Cocker Spaniel, and he is black with some white flecks through him.
Oh, how lovely. Oh, I do love a show cocker. That's interesting that, you have a show cocker because normally, for assistance dogs, it'll be a working cocker that tends to be used.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I know that hearing dogs only do 4 breeds. I don't think they have specifically the working over the show, but I also know that he was one that they bought in rather than homebred. They breed a lot of their own dogs. So I'm not sure quite if he was bought in for a different reason.
Oh, well, it doesn't really matter. He's yours now, and
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Because hearing dogs, we hear a lot about guide dogs and quite rightly, and support dogs that help people suffering from epilepsy. And there's so many ways dogs actually do help us in amazing ways. But with hearing dogs, it's an organization that, well, I'm it's quite close to my heart actually. As one of the original founders is a woman called Claire Guest, Dr. Claire Guest, and she went on to launch medical detection dogs, which again is another application where dogs are actually smelling cancer volatiles on humans and in research purposes to speed up the earlier detection of cancer. So their role in our lives is never endingly brilliant.
Yeah, it's absolutely fascinating what they can do, isn't it?
It really is. So tell us a little bit more about how Buster has really helped you fulfill your degree and be busy and active in the workplace.
Yeah, so I've had him now for 2 years. It was his birthday on Saturday, so he's now 5. I waited 5 years for him, and he. I applied at the beginning of university, and he came to me just as I was leaving university. So he never got to actually come to my lessons with me, but he did come to my Viva, which was an experience because he was very excited. So he was distracting all of the teachers, which was great because it meant they weren't really listening to me. So that was excellent. And I mean, what he does out of the house is he makes my disability visible. Because I speak well, because I learned to speak before my hearing became a problem. I speak nice and clearly. People don't realize how deaf I am. So he initially, I get a lot of questions. Is he in training? I say, no, he is mine. And he'll alert me outside the house. He's alerting me to the fire alarm is the thing that he'll alert me to, where he'll nudge me, ask him what it is, and he will lay down to tell me it's an emergency. And then around the house, we have all different sounds that he alerts me to, which is the fire alarm, timer, alarm clock, telephone, doorbell. And it's all the things that you kind of take for granted, as to you don't realize how safe you feel knowing that you can hear those things, because when you can't, it suddenly becomes isolating and worrying. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've burnt meals because I've put the timer on, walked away from the oven, and then not heard the timer. So he really does make me just feel comfortable and relaxed.
I love that. I mean, I particularly love the bit where, he can differentiate between perhaps a colleague of yours coming over. Maybe he would let you know someone was walking towards you. But it's the way that he alerts to an emergency by lying down. I think that's so clever.
Yeah, and I find it interesting because it is obviously probably the most important alert that he gives me. But because of the way that, how often does the fire alarm really go off? And we had an incident a couple of months ago where he kept nudging me, and then I'd ask him what it is, because if it's a different sound, he'll take me to the sound. And he was sort of, I don't know, he's just alerting me, just kept periodically alerting me. And I mentioned it to a colleague at work, and they said, "Oh, have you checked your fire alarm batteries?" I said, "Oh, no." And what he was doing is he was alerting me to the beep of the fire alarm, saying that the battery's running low, but he couldn't tell me what it was because he didn't know what it was. He knew that it was something he needed to alert me to. So that was really interesting. So now that I know that pattern, I kind of learned that one. And he is a little cheeky because he has self-taught to alert me to the food trucks arriving at work. Because he's desperately trying to get sausages off of the ladies that run those. So
I love that. That's great. I do. Yes. Well, Cocker Spaniels, they are cheeky. They're fabulous dogs. Actually, it's wonderful how he is. I imagine, really overcoming any barriers that you might have felt, in the workplace, by being an icebreaker as well, on top of his daily duties. There's all the aspect of him as a dog and igniting conversations.
Yeah, I mean, he brings a joy to the office that I've never seen before, which is such a lovely thing. You see people walking in and they see me sat at my desk and they light up because they know that Buster's going to be here too. And I mean, he is the favorite employee. Nobody really knows who I am. I'm just his chauffeur, really, because he's got his own personalized bed and bowl. And he's had presents sent to him from the American office. He's a fan favorite, and he just lightens the mood, and he takes himself off every so often because he's not on lead when he's in the office. That everybody has agreed that they're happy for him to wander if he chooses to, because again, he is cheeky. And he'll wait for people to be in meetings and then just slip off and go have cuddles with people down the other end. And you could just see people getting up to move because they want to go give him a cuddle, which is nice. He enjoys it. He loves going to the office and greeting people. And it also, like you say, it's a great icebreaker for when visitors come into the office, because some of these meetings are long and intense, and he sort of just goes around and says, "Hey, do you need a cuddle? I'm here for you." So he does do emotional support as well.
Well, I mean, it must be, Oh, it's a very, admirable role you're doing. I mean, it was as a mature student you qualified as a safety engineer. Is that right?
Electrical and automation engineer. Yeah, and I graduated in 2024. Uh, how old was I? Oh, 35.
Young, very young, very young. Oh, well, that's great. I mean, that's in itself such a, great thing because you've also got three children who must also love
Yeah.
Buster very much. How does he get on with the kids?
Yeah, I mean, he loves small people or anybody who he thinks he's going to get food off of because yeah, he because of his personality just get very excitable. So he gets quite chatty and vocal. He makes all sort of like Wookiee sounds for the children because he's just so happy to see them, and he'd quite happily play with them for hours if he could.
Yeah, no, I bet. But in terms of your confidence, I mean, how has he helped in particular, out and about, for example?
Yeah, I mean, I took him with me down to London last week for an event, and it again, he's in his jacket. It meant that I was able to, when I requested assistance, they knew exactly who I was because I had obviously the assistant's dog, and so they were able to find me quickly, help me uh, get to where I needed to do with the stations and stuff, and help seat me, which I find it quite stressful because I can't hear the announcements on the train, um, and sometimes the boards aren't necessarily accurate at the time. And I just find it overwhelming. So the fact that Buster's there, they see me straight away because otherwise, with my hair down, nobody knows. Uh, so it's yeah, it does visually take that. I don't have to introduce it as the elephant in the room. People know me because of the dog, and that makes such a difference.
Yes, absolutely. Because I mean, I guess this is the point. I mean, it's not a visible situation, is it? I can imagine. He normalizes everything. Would you say is that kind of the thing? Dogs just do this naturally, But and for him, I believe he knows without a doubt. He knows what he's doing and how he's helping, and it's giving dogs a purpose, which they absolutely thrive on. So he's doing what dogs are really meant to do.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, he'll go off with anybody if you see what I mean, briefly, but then he'll go, wait, hang on a second.
Yeah.
Where's mum? She's not
Yeah.
here. I
Yeah,
need to go
exactly.
and check on her.
Yeah. Where's my purpose in life?
Yeah.
Crumbs, So yeah, no, amazing, amazing. Have you visited their facility, Hearing Dogs?
Yeah, so as part of partnership, you have to go down for a week before you graduate with your hearing dog. You have to pass some tests together, and so we stayed down there, and it was just lovely meeting other hearing dog users because out in the wild, I think I've seen one hearing dog with their partner by chance, and that is it. I've never ever come across anybody else in the years that I've been looking into them. So they're around. I just don't know where they're hiding. Uh, and so it was nice to be surrounded by people that understood uh, not only my hearing, but having a dog and being able to just say, oh gosh, I've really struggled with this aspect of it. And somebody not judge you and just say, oh, yeah, me too. I was down there with another lady who was partnered at the same time. And, we talked at great lengths about, situations that we've come across. And it was just, nice to be able to share that experience.
Oh, gosh, I bet. Gosh, so you were there together because I bet you made loads of new friends there as well. It's like another massive support network because they're always going to be there for you, hearing dogs.
Yeah, and I have my own. They're called PIs. I can't remember what it stands for. That's not helpful. Sorry. But they they I'm in regular contact with her, and she comes out, and if I have any problems, like we did have a problem where he was just getting a bit too excited at times, and so she'd come out, we'd go to garden centre, have a chat about what's happening, see if we can demonstrate the behaviour. He'd obviously be an absolute saint and not put a foot wrong the whole time,
Yeah.
make me out to be a liar. So, and it's if ever there's a problem, there's always somebody you can reach out to and speak with, and that's just amazing. The network is huge, and meeting people on social media that also have hearing dogs. I've met a lady in Scotland, and we've chatted about it. She got a hearing dog a couple of years before me, and she was able to sort of say, oh, this bit has been really hard, this bit's been great. And it's just been being able to follow her experience of it has been wonderful as well. And it's and it just, like I say, it just brings a smile to everybody's face.
Yeah, exactly. And then you strike up conversations and feel a part of it, really, which and I'm very, very proud of your dog. Gosh, so in the training process, because I love all of that, because I do dog training, and it's just it's the wonderful thing that I do believe there's intuition going on here, sort of certain aspects that dogs just do naturally, because they are pre-programmed to help and to work with us. And he is a working breed, rather than my mind's gone blank. Well, all dogs can do it. That's the thing. Yeah. All dogs can do it, but certain breeds have more of a bonding aptitude. For example, I have a bull terrier. They're known for being super independent, super belligerent, super counterculture, if you like. So,
yeah.
So you say go left, they go, no way, I'm going right, so which is their charm, actually, with a cocker, they're pretty obedient in their makeup, they're pleasers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what did you do at the centre? Because I'm fascinated. I've not visited hearing dogs. I've visited lots of others. And I just love the way different dogs are trained for different, helping different disabilities with people, that are wheelchair bound and so on, taking the washing out of the washing machine, putting the clothes into the washing machine, all of these different skills for different needs. Explain a couple of things that Buster was trained to do that might have been different to another partnership.
So he was trained for me. It's called the call, which is where somebody can say, "Call mummy," and he'll come get me. Except for, sorry, he's now shouting at something.
What is he barking? Is he?
Yes, sorry. A bird is playing him in the garden. Sorry.
No, don't worry. No, don't. I love all that. That's not a problem. No, go on. This is so interesting. So is that when, you might have gone out of sight or gone to the loo or something like that?
Yeah. Like if somebody has a problem, it'll call mummy, it'll come nudge me, I'll say, what is it? And he'll take me to the person. Except for it was made clear that it was one that they wouldn't train me how to use if it was going to be abused by the children. And it's one that we have sort of let slip now purposely because my daughter kept using it to ask for treats. Like, can I have a snack, please? No, you don't get to use the dog to alert me to come and find you, to find out if you can have a snack or not. You come find me. So, super cheeky children. But the lady I was with at the centre didn't have a full hearing dog. She had a sound support dog, which meant that he wasn't fully qualified and wasn't allowed into every space legally. I believe that the reason why is because they're obviously vetted through various processes. They've got to go through a lot of stages before they can be accepted as a qualified hearing dog. And some of them don't quite make it, but there's other roles for them, which I found fascinating. They match on personality type, is what they say. And there was a couple of dogs that were on the cards for me, so I'm told, but they believed that Buster was going to be the one for me. And when we were down at the centre, one of the things we did was we had our jackets, because we have them for 2 weeks before you go to the centre, and it's just you and the dog for bonding.
In your home?
Yeah, they drive the dog to you. The trainer who trained the dog is with you. You go out for a little walk, you're introduced to them, they're introduced to the house, you go for a little walk, all talk through all the quirks and traits that the dog has, and then they come back the next day. They stay locally, come back the next day, you carry on with a little bit of training, recall, things like that. And then they head off and leave you be, and it's just in that time it's just stay with your dog. You haven't got any uniform, so you're not legally allowed into anywhere unless it's dog friendly, and you're just trying to build that relationship. And it was quite a challenging time because it's this adult dog that you're trying to bond with, and obviously you're not doing things exactly the same as where they were before, and so it took a lot longer than I was expecting to really build that relationship to a point where it's now we trust each other. The children were then introduced to him slowly so that it wasn't overwhelming and too exciting, and then you go for the week at the centre, in which you get your uniform for the first time. You're allowed to wear it and go. We went to a cafe in a garden centre. We went for a walk, and we went for a walk at a local National Trust place, which was absolutely beautiful. But there were cows, and Buster rolled in something very disgusting, was very proud of himself. And they said, "Oh, are you okay? Are you okay about this?" I said, "What do you mean, am I okay about this?" I'm not happy that he's rolling something stinky, but I'm also glad it's not my car that he's got to get into. So, I'm not overly fussed. And they said, "Oh, some people would be unhappy with that aspect if they were, naughty in that way." And I said, "Well, he's a dog after all. I should have been more on it and aware that he could have disappeared off to go and do that, and I should have been watching him closer." And they were quite shocked that that was my attitude. And then Buster had to have a bath in the grooming suite, and he sounded like he was being murdered. So Buster learnt his lesson too. So,
but that's so interesting. It is letting him, be a dog, and that's so important. But I should imagine, gosh, keeping his boundaries all nice and sharp in the home with 3 children as well. It's kind of involving the whole family around Buster, which I think is only a good thing. I think dogs bring out the best in us. I really believe that.
Yeah, I mean, we me and my youngest, we enjoy playing like hide and seek games with him to keep him mentally stimulated. And we got a squeaker, so sort of somebody hide in a cupboard and squeak the squeaker, and he'll come find them and get some treats. And then trying to keep because on days when we're not in the office, obviously we walk him for a minimum of 60 minutes every day. But when he's not in the office, he doesn't seem to be as mentally stimulated because he's a bit more relaxed. He's not looking out for anything particularly. Although there are more things that he alerts me to. We find we need to mentally stimulate him to keep him relaxed and ready to sleep. Because he just, I'm absolutely no expert at all on any dog psychology or anything, but he just seems to be more on edge when it comes to going to bed if he hasn't had some mental stimulation throughout the day.
So, Kailey, quick, had you had a dog before? Is he your first dog?
No, I had a Labrador before, and I got the Labrador because it was a way of shortcutting because of the massive wait list for hearing dogs. At the time, there was a charity set up that would train your dog for whatever specific needs you had. Unfortunately, I got the dog, and then charity was no longer able to offer it. services. And so I ended up with a Labrador that never, I mean, bless him, he never would have made the cut. He was far too stupid, bless him.
Oh,
He was
no.
just, he was loving life. He was a simple soul. So I just had him. And because you cannot have a dog that's under the age of 10 with a paired hearing dog for fairness of the other dog, because you'd be taking your assistant's dog away every time with you, leaving your other dog at home. I had to wait until he turned 10 before I could apply for a hearing dog.
Oh, I see. No, gosh, that's really interesting. Oh dear, poor Labrador. Oh, no, I'm sure he had a fantastic life. So you already, were very comfortable with a dog in the home, and so with the children. And it's interesting though, but to keep Buster kind of ready to be in action, all of that, the hide and seeks and keeping him busy is great, but he still is a young dog. And as you said, dogs are dogs, and rolling in the odd cow patch, sadly, or the other one, mine's terrible about his fox poop, it's the other one. Or but that's what they're instinctually, designed to do, really, to hide away from the predator that might be lurking somewhere and
Yeah.
not, but yeah. So the whole companionship and bringing the family together. I mean, it sounds like Buster's done a great job there as well.
Definitely. He is definitely the glue that holds everybody together and keeps everybody regulated.
Yes. Yeah, you're looking a bit bored. Let's go out.
Yeah.
It sounds absolutely brilliant, and I'm very envious as well that you spent so much time with the hearing dogs, because it is making it visible, as you say, and I think that's really important. Then everyone around can adapt positively, all thanks to Buster.
Yeah, definitely.
Kailey, has there been a moment, where Buster's been out with you and really, gone beyond the realms of duty?
Yeah, I mean, last week I went down to London for an event, and I went to the IET building HQ, which is Institute of Engineering Technology. As a member, I'm able to gain access to the members only lounge, which is terribly posh and wonderful. And so in that heat, me and Buster were able to go and work from the lounge, and it was very excited to be in the nice, cool space. But I was expecting to have to not argue, but explain. Oh no, he's qualified. We carry a special ID booklet. This is us, and I had absolutely no problems whatsoever. I had pre-warned them and said in an email that I'm hoping to come and work from there. Is that going to be a problem? And it was absolutely fantastic experience. I greeted by security as I walked through the door, and they said, "No problem. This is where you need to go." And went up, and they all said hello. The ladies on the desk to book me in gave him a cuddle, and then we just went and sat, and nobody even blinked an eyelid, and it was just wonderful to know that amongst fellow engineers it wasn't a problem. And that's how I feel Buster fits within my engineering lifestyle and career. Is he just comes along with me, people say hello and carry on. I'm not treated any differently, and that makes me feel really included.
Oh, it's absolutely brilliant. What about access to, say, a grocery store or other places out and about? Have you ever had anyone go, sorry, dogs aren't allowed? It's rarer now, but I think this was an issue.
Yeah, I mean, I do get it quite a lot actually, because I've recently moved areas. But because of his colouring and the burgundy colour of his jacket that he wears, I don't think it jumps out. Guide dogs, high vis, everybody knows it. It's clear.
Mm.
Because he's black with burgundy, it's not overly obvious. And so I get challenged, but not nastily. They just say, look, dogs aren't allowed. And I say, he's an assistance dog. I do have his ID if you want to see it. And most people will say, oh, no problem, no, that's fine. I have had one occasion where I've been refused access because of him. But hearing dogs, as I assume with all assistance dogs, give you guidance on how you should handle that. So I just reported it to the hearing dogs, and they then take over and they'll go and help educate, because that's all it is education. People need to be educated on the law and what it means to have an assistance dog. And, sometimes people just don't know. And because unfortunately hearing dogs is not one of the big well-known ones by everybody, they just, people miss it, I think. And so it's, but it's all generally handled, well. And, we're educated as partners of what we need to do. It's not about saying, this is my right, I should have access. It's the, I try very gently. I get my book. It's got all the laws and everything in there. I share that with them, and I say, it's no problem. If you don't want me here, that's no problem. I'll go. But just to let you know, I will be letting hearing dogs know so that they can help support you in understanding the laws and, how this works.
Yes, well, that's very moderated of you, isn't it? But that is, how frustrating that must be, really, how frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, I find it embarrassing because I'm like, because I panic then, because normally, obviously, when you walk into somewhere, there's kind of like a regulator. It's like, oh, how are you? Talk about the weather. That people aren't really having deep conversations. So when somebody sort of comes at me, I think, oh gosh, I've got to listen to what they're saying. So, I struggle with people with accents and beards. So, or if their face is covered, I'm not able to hear them properly. So that I have to start the conversation with, I'm really sorry, I'm deaf. I just, and then I feel like I'm on the back foot, and, I've been exposed, if you know what I mean, rather than it being, I just feel like it's a little bit of an attack. It's not, but that's just how I perceive it, and I panic.
Yeah,
and then get embarrassed.
No, gosh, it's so understandable, and it's just not the right thing, it is, so gosh, well, does he have like a proper pass, so that you can wear his pass sort of around your neck, and
well, he has a little ID booklet that all assistance dogs are issued with, and in the very back of it is a photograph of me and him, and it has our names. It tells you what dog he is, breed, name, numbers, you name it. It's all there, detailed clearly for everybody to see. And then advance of that, it's all laws and regulations, and it's just explaining, so for anybody to read it, that what he's been trained to, his injections, his medical, and all these, because I think people, that there are sometimes people that will present their dog as assistants when they're not, and I think that's a little bit of the problem, because obviously, unfortunately, you can buy assistance dog jacket and pop it on your dog, if you wanted to, and that is, I think, part of the problem, because people don't necessarily know how to differentiate the difference, and so
yes,
that's where the booklet, I think, is super important.
Oh no, you've hit on something there. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I know a lot of people do need an emotional support dog, but the difference is, I think, an assistance dog, I believe they have to demonstrate ways in which they actually help, which of course Buster does, rather than just being a comfort blanket, as it were. They actually do something, and of course he's doing it all the time. He's your ears and alerting you, nudging you, and and that lying down when he can differentiate something being average or red alert. Gosh, it just shows they're brilliant trainers. wonderful dogs and just a wonderful partnership. I can hear the smile in your voice, as you're talking about him, which fills me with warmth and brilliance and just love it. I'm very, very, happy. And I just think, dogs just enrich our lives, all the time. Man's best friend, isn't it, really, Kailey?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Oh, well, I really hope, the access thing doesn't crop up, because that's really unfortunate. But again, it's education. I guess every time it happens and every time hearing dogs step in, they've learned, and that's also a good thing.
Definitely. And yeah, it is just that education part. And it's not something that is overly obvious. So if you don't know, you don't know. And I'm quite open, and I'm happy for anybody to ask me questions about the dog, about my hearing. I'm not ashamed in that sense. So if more people are open and honest, it makes it easier for other people to understand limitations and accessibility needs as well. So
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much again, Kailey. And of course, please give Buster a treat for being very good while you've been, immersed in a podcast.
yes, well, he's not too far away. He's now on my lap.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, and all the links are going to be in the show notes for anyone thinking, gosh, I want to inquire about a hearing dog. So it's great as well, to be part of that bigger community. What could be better?
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, thank you, Kailey. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's our show, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go on, rate and review the show wherever you tune into your podcasts. Thanks again, of course, to Kailey for joining us today. And please give Buster a treat from all of us. And thanks to Mike, my producer, for all the music and production as ever. And if you want to find out more about Zoomy, Naturaw, go to my recommends page at annaweb.co.uk. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because you'll never miss another show. Bye for now.